Good evening, friends. You are watching Fact News Network. We are going to be covering here the story here as it unfolds today. Prime Minister Netanyahu in Washington, D.C., meeting with President Donald Trump over the peace plan. I find it kind of interesting how this has constantly been slowly but surely put off, revealing this secretive peace plan that Trump has been working on ever since he started his presidency. And it seems to be kind of interesting that it's falling at this particular time right now when we're in the election year, where the President of the United States is meeting with Prime Minister Netanyahu. He's talking about tomorrow revealing the details of that peace plan. And of course, there's so much that could be said there too. Things that are happening in the background that a lot of us are not really even paying attention to. This came out yesterday. Prime Minister invites settlers leaders to join him in D.C. for the rollout of Trump peace plan, because one part of this peace plan is, according to some of the leaked information, is that President Trump is going to actually include the sovereignty by Israel over the Jordan Valley. Of course, we already know that he's talked about giving all the sovereignty to Israel over all the settlements that are inside the West Bank there, but giving the entire Jordan Valley over to Israel as well there. So in this particular initiative, the Prime Minister invited the settlers to join him in D.C. for the rollout of the Trump peace plan. As you can see, some of those mayors there standing there with Prime Minister Netanyahu. And as it says here, he invited a group of senior settler leaders to join him this week in Washington, where he will meet with U.S. President Donald Trump at the White House and stated, roll out its peace plan. Netanyahu made the offer on Sunday to the chairman of Yisha Settlement Umbrella Council, David El-Hayani, who responded in the affirmative and asked to bring along Efrat local council chairman Oded Raviv, Benjamin Regional Council Chairman Yisrael Gantz, and Kush Etzion Regional Council Chairman Shlomo Niman, and Yisha spokesman said there. So anyway, it's going to be very interesting to see how all this plays out. But at the same time, the Times of Israel was reporting that Abbas has refused repeated phone calls from President Trump. The PA reportedly turned down multiple requests over the last few days as U.S. prepares to roll out the peace plan already rejected by Ramallah. Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas reportedly refused to take a phone call from the U.S. President Donald Trump ahead of the White House expected release of the Mideast peace plan rejected by Ramallah as a one-sided in favor of Israel. The report by the state-run Turkish Anadolu agency on Monday ahead of separate meetings that Trump is slated to hold with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and a blue and white chief Benny Gantz in Washington, D.C. to discuss the U.S. administration's plan to resolve the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Also, we have here for you, this here Interior Minister claims officials already prepping West Bank annexation, visiting the Jordan Valley. Aryeh Dari lauds Netanyahu's vital historic mission ahead of unveiling Trump's peace plan. Agencies won't confirm if administrative legal work is underway. But that's exactly what we're hearing. The Interior Ministry, Dari said Monday that officials were beginning the administrative work required to implement an expected Israeli her guilt. That was something that just picked up there on Sputnik. I thought we'd go ahead and share with you guys here while we're looking at this. Israeli woman was found guilty of carrying a small amount of hashish in her backpack as she arrived in Russia for a transit flight back home. She recently filed an appeal for pardon with the Russian president after Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu asked him to release the Israeli national. It's kind of interesting, isn't it, to see the Prime Minister of Israel getting involved with the President Putin directly for Israeli national because she's carrying illegal drugs to get her released and sent back to Israel. Makes you wonder who she really is. You know, you just can't help but wonder that. You know, it's just kind of the reason why I kind of brought this up. Says Simonova said that pardoning committee had reviewed Iskar's plea and personal characteristics and unanimously voted to satisfy her appeal. She added that the Israeli national would be released shortly, although she couldn't specify when. Prior to this, the pardoning commission's decision needs to be approved by the Russian President Vladimir Putin. And he is expected to do exactly that. Wow. Amazing, isn't it? I mean, I know that sounds like really nothing, but get caught with illegal drugs for Russia, and I'm sure it's illegal in a lot of other countries as well. And next thing you know, the President Putin and Prime Minister Netanyahu going in there to get this young lady released and sent back to Israel. I just thought that was interesting. Just makes, like I said, makes you wonder who she might really be. I'm Stephen Benoon. You're watching Fact News Network. Thank you for watching, and we'll be keeping you updated later today and tomorrow as well as we look into the situation with the meeting with the Prime Minister of Israel, with President Donald Trump.